BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to BodyBags. It's week 172, and I'm your Sunday host, Bourgie86 here again. Now, the film I got for you guys today is a very special one that I've been excited for since it was first announced by one of my favorite companies out there right now, Mondo Macabro. And I did pick up the limited edition version of this film. This film does get a wider release, a standard release in February, I believe, is when the standard version of this film is going to be released. So wanted to check it out to tell you that, spoiler alert, it's worth a recommendation. And of course, this one is from the land of Korea, and it goes by the title of Suddenly in the Dark. Yes. This film is directed by Go Young Man, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this film came out in 1981. Now, as you know, 1981 has been cleared as like one of the best years of horror in decades and years, and it's a very highlighted year in horror in general. And this is just another film to add to your 81 collection because it's a year that keeps on giving, and this one is a very solid film. Now, the main plot of this one, we're introduced to this young like housewife who's married and has a child. Her husband is like I believe he's like a scientist who studies like butterflies and the supernatural aspect, and he collects a lot of butterflies. He has like a butterfly collection, and he's going through like this slideshow with like the people that he works for, and this one image is of this wooden doll that kind of freaks out his wife in a way. And as this is going on, and the next day, her husband actually ends up bringing home like this orphan girl to work as a housemaid. And we learn a little things about this girl, like her mother used to be a shaman who died in a fire, and we find out a little more about her. And one thing that she has with her from her belongings is this wooden doll. And unbeknownst, it's also the same wooden doll that we saw in that photograph that freaked out the housewife. As the story is progressing, there's a lot of tension going on with the housewife's stability, and she thinks that her husband and this new like housemaid that he's brought into their house are having an affair. And there's a lot of strange like atmospheric things that are going on with those shots with like prism stuff. And as the film progresses, there's a lot of strange things that happen with this wooden doll that also questions her insanity and stability as a person. That is pretty much the main plot. I don't want to really delve into this plot. This one's kind of like a hard film to really gather you the whole plot of it without spoiling it type deal. Now, my thoughts on it. The film is beautifully shot. This is a pristine print. I gotta say, for a film from 1981, Mondo Macabro did a terrific job with the transfer of this film. There's a lot of great like colors and schemes that kind of remind me of like Italian cinema in a way. Like there's a lot of like green tinges and red tinges that play throughout the film, a lot of blue tinges also. And that also leads me into the other thing that's very Italian based about this film is its soundtrack. It has a very Italian like based like synth score that is pulsating throughout the whole film, and it works for its benefit in my opinion, because this film is very like slow burnish in a way with like the story and delving into the characters modes and MOs and stuff. And this synth score is like pulsating throughout it, and it's driving you like into this hypnotic trance. It kind of reminds me of like a Goblin score in a way, which is very fundamental, and it's fucking awesome that this film does remind me of Goblin's like scores in a way. Very pulsating, and because this film is a slow burn film, you're wondering to yourself, does the payoff deliver? And I gotta say, the last 20 minutes of this film is very pulsating and beautiful to look at. It has like this very edge to your seat, like what is gonna go on. And I gotta say, it's some of the best like K-horror stuff, in my opinion, that dwells into this like ending that is very atmospheric and beautiful to look at, with a lot of great images and very terrifying scenes. I even actually jumped at one scene in particular. So there is a lot of going on in this film. It's not like your typical like thrills and chill like K horror and J horror film, like like Ju-on or like The Grudge or like even like Phone in a way. It's a Korean one or Whispering Corridors. It has a lot of like things that those films build up from it, like with homages to this film. But it has a lot of stuff that goes on its own and a lot of things that delve into like other like countries' work. Like I said, like the Italian influence, and the camera work is beautiful and elegant to look at. And there's these weird shots that are very elegant to like I like to call them like the dreamlike shots, where it's like it kind of looks like a like one of those things you looked at through like in school, like the prism, and it keeps going like different colors. It's kind of like that, but it's with images from like certain scenes of the film, and it dwells into like other certain scenes that happen. It's like, kind of like a POV shot that they use it for, and those scenes are really cool. A lot more I want to talk about this film, but I can't, unfortunately, because this film is very spoiler heavy, what's going on and the plot and stuff. But I fucking really enjoyed this, man. It's one of those Asian horror films that I heard about like growing up and stuff, and delve into like the history of learning about Asian horror, but it's one that I never got to see, and I'm glad I finally got a chance to see it because it's remarkable type of filmmaking here. If I had to rate Suddenly in the Dark, I'm giving it a solid 9.5 out of 10. It's a classic of the genre, and it's very influential, and it's just a very fucking awesome film. And this release by Mondo, I know this releases the exclusive things to it are like the booklet and the case, of course, but the interview with the producer David Shao and interview with the critic Kim Bang-sik are, I believe, are going to be on the actual new release of this film when it comes out in February. So very informative stuff that happens with this film. If you're a fan of Korean or Asian cinema in that general, it's one that you have to own for your collection. Awesome shit right here. 9.5 out of 10 for Suddenly in the Dark. Awesome shit. Alright guys, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next week with another one for you guys. And as always, happy holidays and see you soon, BodyBags fan. Peace out.